Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Unlocking Greatness Podcast with Zenja Glass. I am Z. I'm so happy to have you back. I want to talk today about the parable of the weeds. And it's an amazing, amazing parable, which is like a little story that's told in, I believe it's in Matthew chapter 13. I believe that's in all of the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, but I'm referring to Matthew. This story means so much to me. And it's really shaped my life in terms of how I view trouble. And my whole premise of this is I want you to not fear when trouble comes. So as I've said many times in the few episodes we've done so far, we are absolutely going to get into talking about ways to grow your business. I'm going to teach you everything that I know in terms of starting a business, whether that's private labeling products or writing or pursuing your dreams with whatever it is you want to do. We're going to go into all of that. I'm going to use a lot of my entrepreneurial experiences to help you to develop and grow in those areas. But again, I'm laying a foundation. And so part of the foundation that I'm laying is I want you to expect trouble. Yeah, I said it. I want you to expect trouble. Before I posted this very first podcast, I brought my little crew together and I had a talk with them. And I'll never forget it. I said to them, we are about to embark upon something that God is truly going to bless. We're going to help a lot of people. We're going to prevent a lot of people from making decisions in their life that can harm them. We're going to give hope and we're going to inspire the world. And I said, but I need for you all to understand that whenever God sets my sight on doing something for him, especially something of this magnitude, trouble always comes. And a couple of days later, I remember my staff was talking to me about that. They said, Z, my goodness, you said it. You said it. So many things have been happening, things that normally don't happen out of the blue. And I says, I know that's because those are called weeds. So let me just spend a little bit of time with you talking about the parable of the weeds. Now, I want to preface this once again, saying that I'm not a minister. I'm heavily into the Word of God. I love reading my Bible. Many people in my family are ministers, and of course, I attend these amazing Bible studies that I've been attending for many, many, many years. But there's a story that resonates with me more than just about any other story in the Bible, and it talks about the parable of the weeds. It's in Matthew 13. So I'm not going to sit here and read it to you. You can pull out your Bible and read it yourself. And I need for you to trust me when I say that this is a building block that's going to help you as you continue. Some of you have already started pursuing your dreams and goals in life, but as you make the decision on the types of things that you want to do, and as you start those journeys, I am praying that you always go back to remembering that there's a lady named Z that talked about this, and I'd be dang if she was not right about it. So here's the premise of the story. Jesus told this little parable about the kingdom of heaven, and really the story is comparing what the kingdom of heaven is like. So, but the premise of the story is Jesus says, you know, the kingdom of heaven is like, and then he gives an example. He says it's like a man who, I'm trying to get the story right, went out and sowed good seed, and the man knew that the seed was good. But then when the man went to sleep that night, him and all of his servants, he said, an enemy came at night and sowed a lot of weeds among the wheat. And then Jesus goes on in the story to talk about, and as the wheat began to grow and it began to sprout its heads, they noticed that a lot of weeds started growing up with the good wheat. I want you to follow me on this. So the servants of the field went to the owner and says, whoa. I know we planted good seeds. Where is all of this wheat the weeds coming from? Like, we're supposed to just have wheat. Where are all the weeds coming from? And some people, just so you know, refer to the weeds as tare. The servants of the field just kind of freaked out, like, why are we having all these issues? Where is this coming from? So here's the wonderful thing about this little parable that Jesus told. The owner of the field says to the servants something to the fact of, No, the servants rather said, shouldn't we go and pull up the weeds? Should we go and pull them all up? And the owner of the field tells the servants, no, 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 no. No, no, no. We're not going to do that. Because if we do that, we're probably going to make the mistake and pull up some of the good wheat along with the weeds. And he goes, no, 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 no. We're going to let them both grow up together. And at harvest time, at that point, we'll gather all of the weeds, we'll bundle them up, and they'll be burned into the fire, and we'll gather the good wheat. Now, you may say, Z's, okay, where's this story going? Well, I heard an amazing sermon, and I can't remember how long ago it was, by a minister. I think it was, I'm pretty sure that it was Minister T.D. Jakes. And I'm not promoting any ministers or any people in this channel, but I bring his name up to say, I believe he's the one that did a sermon on this a long time ago, and it just always stuck with me. And the whole premise of it is, I think he talked about let them both grow up together. Let the weeds and the wheat grow up together. That has stuck with me for so long, because as I go through things in life, and this is really honestly the way that I kind of view and see things. When I know that I'm on a mission and I'm doing something that God has placed in my heart to do, I literally trick my mind into thinking, sort of like I don't want to say trick my mind, but I literally change my form of thinking, and I say, I'm supposed to expect the weeds. And that's what I want to do with you all today. If I can keep a couple more minutes of your time, I want you to be in the mindset of thinking, when trouble comes your way, you don't need to fear anything. Because when you're doing what you know you're supposed to be doing, and when you're stepping out and doing what God has put in your heart to do, whether that's pursuing a dream, serving, helping someone, whatever it is, growing those seeds that God has planted inside of you, I need for you to please not be alarmed in the least bit when all of a sudden all kinds of things start happening and trouble starts coming your way. Trust me, it happens. I need for you to be able to look at those weeds. And I don't know if you're watching this on video. Hopefully you're watching the video. You can see that I've got like some weeds or some grass around me right now. And if you're not watching, just kind of listen along. But I need for you to be able to look at that and say, oh, that's supposed to happen. The weeds, which some refer to as tare, and the good wheat. And keep in mind, Jesus told this parable, so I didn't make this up, so follow me. The parable he gave is, the owner of the field said, let them both grow up together. Think about that for just a moment. That for me means, Z, as you start to draw closer to me, as you start to give your heart and grow, pursue the dreams I placed in your heart to do, serve others, serve in the kingdom, whatever the talents I've given you, as you begin to multiply those talents, please do not be alarmed if in the middle of the night the enemy comes and sows weeds among the good seeds I've planted in you. And I don't want you to be afraid of the trouble. I understand it's going to grow up with you. I understand there's going to be an opposition that comes your way. And I'm hoping that there's someone that's listening to this message that's really touched by what I'm saying, because I'm speaking from my heart. If you find yourself in a situation where you feel like, how is it that every time I look around, it's just something else happening? Like every time I'm trying to get this off the ground, or I'm trying to do this or do that, and I know this is what God wants me to do. Now all of a sudden, the kid's sick, or I don't know, I lost my job, or my spouse or my partner, whoever, they're acting like they lost their minds, or all of a sudden I'm sick, or all of a sudden this happens and this happens. I need for you to take a moment to go to that passage in Matthew 13. Read it thoroughly. Read it for yourself. And I would love for you to just spend some time thinking about that passage, and to be able to sit back and say to yourself, wait a minute. As the good wheat grows, I need to understand and expect that weeds are going to grow up with me. Now, here's the wonderful thing about this parable. You notice it didn't stop the farmer. He still grew his wheat. He still got his profit. He still gathered his wheat and did what he had to do. And that's what I'm hoping that you see from this, that it ain't going to stop you. We all know that as we begin to take these moments in life to follow our passion and dreams and do the things that God has told us to do, we all know, at least I hope you know by now, there's always going to be opposition and trouble that's going to come your way. But I would love for you to sit back and take a look at those weeds and smile and use it as a confirmation. In fact, that's what I say to myself. That's what I told my crew. I tell people this all the time. I have so many people that tell me, Z, you just don't understand. You know, when I'm focused for 2-3 weeks on what I need to be doing, then all of a sudden this happened. All of a sudden my car stopped running. I had to spend money. All of a sudden, blah, 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 blah. And I just smiled and said, that's good. That's supposed to happen. It's supposed to happen. The enemy is not going to leave you alone, especially when you're on the right track. In fact, the way that I look at things, and I'm praying that you do this the same, be alarmed when he doesn't bother you. I know that sounds weird, but be alarmed when nothing's happening. Be a little alarmed, just a little. That doesn't mean something's wrong, so, But I just want you to think about that for a second. When you have these oppositions and things coming against you, and you know in your heart of hearts that you are trying your best, tears at night, trying your best to serve and help others and do all the things you got to do, take care of all your responsibilities, and at the same time do what you know that God has put in your heart to do to pursue your dreams and your passions or your business or whatever it is you want to do. I'm praying that you don't get discouraged by that. I'm praying that you now can get encouraged. When you see the weeds, say to yourself, this is a confirmation. It's a confirmation. The reason I prepared my staff before I started doing the podcast is because I knew that they were going to need to hear that. And every time they came back at me, and it was a lot of stuff that happened in the couple of weeks leading up to launching this, by the way, a lot of stuff that has never happened. What I loved so much was hearing them say to me, Z, this such and such happened. And then I loved hearing them say, but you know what, Z, I thought about what we talked about. I thought about that meeting we had. And I says, wow, God, thank you for the confirmation. That means I'm sowing good seeds. That means I'm doing something right. That means I'm doing something right. I'm sowing good seeds. So I pray that this short lesson inspires and encourages you to keep at it, keep going. Do not give up. I pray that you're watching the video so you can see my face and me telling you, do not quit. Do not stop. Do not get discouraged or distracted by what other people may say, think, or feel. When you stretch out there and you start doing the things that God put in your heart to do, guess what? You're going to have people that's going to talk about you. It's okay. Let them talk. I'm going to do a post on that pretty soon as well, about let them talk. Let them say whatever they have to say. In fact, one of the things that I like to teach people is I like to say, are you guys aware that the human body is mainly composed of a lot of water? And, I think the kidneys are like 80-something% water. And don't quote me on this if you're like a biology or science major or something, but I think the lungs and the brain is like 70-something% water. Our body is normally water. I think in an adult body, we're like 60 to 70% water. So what I love to tell people, I said, are you going to really allow a bag of water to stop you from pursuing your destiny? They're just a bag of water. They're going to be here today and gone tomorrow. So whatever oppositions come your way, when you know that you are doing what God has placed in your heart to do, and when you know that you're doing your best to water and try to grow those seeds of greatness that's inside of you, when that opposition comes, it's okay to cry a little bit. I've done it, right? It's okay, I guess every blue moon we get stressed about something, right? But I want you to stop. I want you to go and remember that passage in Matthew 13. And I want you to sit back and fold your little arms. And I want you to say, I remember this lady with this little afro named Z some podcast called Unlocking Greatness Podcast with Zenja class, I distinctly remember her talking about this story. And you know what? She's right. This is supposed to happen. You know, I always like to say that's what separates imposters and imitators from those that are really genuine and real. And what I mean by that is, I used to always tell my kids, and I tell this to my staff, I tell this to everyone else. I said, you know what, if it was easy, I say everybody would be doing it. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. So really the weeds are a good thing if you think about it, because the weeds are what, separates the imposters, separates those, that are only going to put a little bit of effort into something. And now because there's weeds, I'm going to stop. Oh, my relationships are not right. I got to stop. I don't have the support. Oh, my finances are a little bit bad right now. I can't figure out how to do this. I'm going to stop. Such and such happened. My boss made me mad, or somebody came at me the right way and treated me wrong. I'm going to stop. So I actually thank God for the weeds. I really do. I know that sounds odd to say, but I thank God for the weeds because it separates the imposters. It separates those that just make a minimum effort to those who are going to be adamant about praying to God, being indignant about their goals, and pursuing their passions in life. The weeds are supposed to be there. It has a purpose. That's why they come. Stay as the good wheat. Continue to sprout your heads and grow. Cling to God and grow. Continue despite the opposition. Do not be afraid of trouble. And when you see those weeds coming up among you, I want you to look at them and smile and say, they're supposed to be here. They're supposed to be here. But there is going to come a time when there's a harvest. And when that time comes, I'm going to reap what I've sown. So anyway, I hope that this message, this short passage resonates with you all. Again, I can't take full credit for this because I heard it in a sermon a while back. And I heard someone speak on it. It stayed with me for so long that I just thought, I've got to make sure that I remember this and that I incorporate it into my life. So every single time I hear anyone, whether it's a staff member, friend, family member, someone talk about, man, it seems like every time I put one foot forward, it's like I'm taking 2 steps back. I always just say, oh, those are just weeds. That's supposed to happen. It's supposed to happen. Grow anyway. Anyway, I love you all. This is Z. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye. Hi, everyone. This is Z again. Do not forget to hit the like, subscribe, and the notification button. Bye-bye.